very, very close race with Democrat Cooper Mako right now. He's an attorney, 39 years old, of Huntington. This seems to be surprising people. Again, so close right now, within 500 votes. Look at that. So this one, we will certainly have to wait on. Riverhead Supervisor, another one here. Very, very close, within 10 votes at this point. So we'll keep an eye on it. Republican Timothy Hubbard hoping to secure his second term, but he is fighting off a very good contest here with Jerome Halpin. First bid for public office. He's 53 years old, of Riverhead. He's the founder of the North Shore Christian Church there. Let's head over to Smithtown. Smithtown Supervisor, Republican Ed Weirheim, hoping to secure his third term. Rosemary Griffin has dropped out of the race. She's no longer running. Republican Amber Brock Williams, the incumbent in Shelter Island, hoping to secure her seat. Looks like she will do it against Democrat Gordon Gooding. This is a rematch. They went head-to-head in 2023 as well. Southampton Supervisor, uncontested race. Democrat Maria Moore will serve her second term. We are still waiting on results from Nassau County. However, we do have some early results for Nassau County Executive that we want to show you right now. Again, still waiting on many results, but right now it looks like incumbent Bruce Blakeman, the Republican, has a 10-point lead over Seth Koslow. Again, very early on right now for Nassau County numbers. We just want to give you a look at that. As these votes are coming in, we will keep you posted on that. Okay.
A lot of numbers there. Thank you so much, Macy. Now let's take a deeper dive into what's at stake here. Joy Brown is in Newsday TV's Studio 2 with Larry Levy, Dean of Suburban Studies at Hofstra University. Joy, Larry, take it away.
Thank you, guys. Let's go to Andrew Cuomo.
Yeah.
That was not the world's most gracious concession speech. I wouldn't have expected it from him.
Right. Well, we only saw what was shown to us.
True.
What we saw was grudging at best. In fact, I thought he was giving a victory speech for a while of what we're going to do and what we're not going to do and allow. But, you know, that's Andrew Cuomo's personality. He is combative. He at times has not been gracious, even as a winner. But you have to hand something to him. Even though he lost, he gained more votes, as he mentioned in the snippet we saw, as an independent, anybody in modern history. That's a kind of a remarkable thing.
Including his dad.
Including his dad, which he mentioned in their father-son rivalry that has spanned decades. Mamdani looks like he's going to break 50%, which would enable him to claim a mandate. He will have gotten more votes than any mayoral candidate in a really long time. And by the same token, he will have done worse on the Democratic line than anybody, I think, in 25 years.
Well, that's because they usually rack up, what,
That's right.
70?
Oh, huge numbers. The primary is tantamount to election. The general election generally doesn't matter. So, you know, what does that say? Well, obviously, it says that Mamdani gets a chance to show what he can do. We talked about this earlier. Pull the city together, come up with some programs that more than just the progressive wing of the party can embrace, because you'll never get it through the state legislature, even if you do get it through a fairly progressive city council, to stay away from things like a BDS against Israel that some of his supporters are clamoring, and basically become a leader for more than just his wing. It's a challenge. If he's able to do that, he's going to have a chance to go down as a true phenomenon.
Well, but the other thing here is this is a generational change as well.
Right.
Right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. At 33, 34 years old, going to run the biggest city in the nation. It's not like he ran his own business, sold it for $1 billion, and proved that he's a management guru. It's not that he ever even ran a village government. So he has a lot to prove, hopefully, for the people who live in New York City and the 30% of Nassau County people who work the 20% who work in New York City. He is going to surround himself with people who are experienced, who are not just ideologues of a particular persuasion, but we'll see. What interesting is that people are going to say, if people are going to say, well, this shows that the party, the Democratic Party, is lurching to the left. It's going to show that progressives are going to say, this is what we have to do, these proposals, these policies, if we want to win national elections. But the reality, if you look around the rest of the country, is that the governor, the Democratic candidate for governor in Virginia who won big is a moderate who has actually scolded the left wing of her party.
New Jersey?
Same thing in New Jersey.
Right.
And the reality is that as skillful a politician as Mamdani is, as skillful as AOC is, I don't think they could win an election in anything but the most Democratic district in any suburb.
Well,
this is not the ideology. Extremism doesn't play in moderate suburban swing districts.
Just quickly, and I want to get back to Long Island, but before I do that, what's next for Andrew Cuomo?
Well, that's a really good question. You know, if Andrew Cuomo wants to stay in politics, he could find a congressional seat somewhere in the state where he could run and possibly or probably win. He could wait for the next election cycle, but he'll be in his 70s then. I'm not so sure that we're going to see him running for public office again. I could see him appointed to some position. I could see him being head of a think tank and moving around the country, espousing for a moderation for the Democratic Party. Again, there's 30 to 35 congressional districts out of 435 that are competitive.
Well,
Virtually all of them are moderate. All of them are suburban.
We shall see. I want to come back to Long Island. Proposition 2.
Yeah.
Suffolk County.
Yeah.
To change the term for Suffolk County legislator
right.
from 2 years to 4 years. You know much about that one?
Well, not a lot, but it's clearly in response to the state legislature and the governor eliminating odd year elections like this year, so that, and we discussed this earlier, so that local races are in the same year as congressional
Right.
and presidential,
Right.
which means that what we see indirectly now, where local elections are often affected by things that have nothing to do with them, and what happens in Washington, what happens in Albany, it's going to be even more so. And it'll probably in New York State benefit Democrats.
Well, let's talk about Suffolk County for just a second
Sure.
now. Under the 2-year term, right? And by the way, 7 of the 10 Suffolk County supervisors are going to face the same thing.
Right.
To make that transition, they're only going to serve 1 term,
Right.
1 year. They're going to have to run again.
Right.
This proposition seems to be ahead at this particular point for the yeses.
Sure.
But we'll see.
Well, you know,
which means that these people elected this year won't have to run again next year.
Right.
But I do expect, and Newsday has written about this,
Sure.
There's a view that this might not be a referendum that can hold up under scrutiny. So we'll have to see that.
Yeah,
one
we'll
as
see. We'll see the outcome of that, and whether, regardless of how people vote, whether it holds up on judicial appeal. But the reality is that the Republican organizations in Nassau and Suffolk are so strong and so adept at getting their voters out, and so facile in pivoting when the wind blows a certain way and an issue comes to the fore, that if anywhere in the state Republicans are able to fight back against this, it will be on Long Island.
Well, we'll see. Just so you know, the race for Babylon supervisor has been called Richie Schaefer. The race for Smithtown supervisor has been called Ed Wertheim. And we've got a couple of legislative races that were called as well, which we'll get to.
Right.
What do you think about, we heard from Richie Schaefer, who has now been reelected as Babylon supervisor, in terms of what Dems are doing in Suffolk County. And they mentioned a couple of close races, right? One race that everybody was looking at was the race between Rebecca Sannon and Chad Lupinacci, the former Huntington Town supervisor. She's still ahead there, right? Also taking a look at the first, Gregory Borowski, a Democrat. Schaefer says, looks like he may have pulled that one out, but we don't know yet.
The last we saw it was 6 votes. So anybody who thinks votes don't count ought to just pay attention to that.
That's correct. And then on the 18th, which we were talking about before, based on what we saw, and again, not final, Craig Herskowitz and Stephanie Bontempi, 50-50.
Right.
So every vote does count.
Right. So if the Democrats win those districts, then we'll see a significant shift. But even if they lose, the fact that they came so close when in prior years that's not what we've seen, will tell you that there is something in the air. The wind is, whatever cliche you want, the wind has started to turn in the Democrats' direction as we look to 2026. I think that is, especially when you then look at Virginia and New Jersey and other places around the state, I'm really interested in seeing the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, where there are 3 open seats. And if the Republicans win it, well, then they'll have a lot to say about the way the state is run.
Could turn out that Long Island's the outlier
yes,
as well.
Yes, it could. And not only that, well, Long Island may be the outlier toward the Republicans, and it doesn't say anything about what happened nationally, just like New York City is an outlier because it's such a unique political ecosystem that it may have an impact on local races and state races in New York, but really isn't telling us what's happening or what should happen if the Democratic Party wants to win those competitive congressional seats and retake the gavels in Congress and then run a centrist who's capable of winning a presidential election.
Yeah, we're not there yet.
Oh, no.
We're not there yet. But where we're going back to the studio
right.
With Macy and Ken.
All right, thanks, Joy and Larry. We'll check back in with you soon. We do want to take a look at Nassau County results. We're getting some more in. Let's begin with the race for Nassau County Executive. Bringing that up on your screen right now to take a look at the latest between Republican incumbent Bruce Blakeman and Democrat Seth Koslow. Right now, still a 10-point difference here between the two. Incumbent Bruce Blakeman with the lead right now. Let's move on to Nassau County District Attorney Ann Donnelly, the Republican, hoping to secure her second 4-year term. She also has a 10-point lead over Nicole Alois, the Democrat. This is her first bid for public office. She joined the Nassau DA's office in 2020. Before that, she was working in Queens. Over to Hempstead Supervisor. 3 town supervisor races going on in Nassau County this election night. John Ferretti, the Republican, who was just appointed supervisor in the last few months, replacing Don Clavin, running against Democrat Joe Shinablo, a former Queens prosecutor. You saw those results there. Over to North Hempstead right now. Jennifer DeSena, the Republican incumbent, hoping to secure her 3rd term. She's got a pretty big lead over Dave Kirpin, the Democrat. Oyster Bay Town Supervisor Joe Saladino, the Republican, with a big lead over Democrat Sam Chaussee right now. Saladino looking to secure his 5th term. All right, over to your Nassau County Legislature now. Let's go to District 1. This is Rockville Center, South Hempstead, Roosevelt region. Republican Charlene Jackson Thompson taking on Democrat Scott Davis, who's hoping to secure a 2nd term. You see the latest results there. District 2, this is Westbury, Carl Place, East Garden City. Republican Papiz Blanchard running against Democrat Viviana Russell. This is an open seat. Right now, it looks like the Democrat Viviana Russell has a commanding lead over her Republican challenger for District 2. District 3 in Nassau County, Kadeem Brown, the Republican, running against Democrat Carrier Salage. He was elected in 2011. Right now, he has 68% of the vote. This is one of those districts that was impacted by the new legislative map. Let's take a look at District 4, Long Beach, Point Lookout, Island Park region. Republican Patrick Maloney, the incumbent, hoping to secure his 2nd term. This is one of those races we've been talking about because the Democratic challenger, Petros Kromidas, 29 years old of Baldwin, was reported missing in Long Beach back in April. A state Supreme Court judge ruled that his name had to stay on the ballot. Let's move on to District 5. This is Seth Koslow's seat. Uniondale, Hempstead, West Hempstead region. Again, this district affected by the new map. Moisha Hill, the Republican, a challenging Democrat incumbent, Alina Nix, 33 years old of Uniondale. She currently represents District 2. Right now, she's got 53% of the vote. District 6 in Nassau County, Freeport, Baldwin region. Deborah Muley, your Democratic incumbent, looking to secure her 5th term, running against Danielle Smykel, 28 years old, of Freeport, the Republican. District 7 now. This is Cedarhurst, Lawrence, Hewlett area. Republican incumbent Howard Coppell. He's the presiding officer of the Nassau County Legislature with a massive lead over Democrat Alec Fishthal, just 25 years old, of Woodmere. Moving on to District 8, Floral Park, Garden City, Franklin Square. This is your legislator, Republican John Drafay, hoping to secure his 3rd term, running against Democrat James Lynch right now. District 9, this is the New Hyde Park, Mineola, Herricks region near Queens, made up of nearly 30% Asian American voters. Nassau County has never elected an Asian legislator. Julie Chin was hoping to change that. But look at this vote count, right? So it's very low right now. So we'll take a look back on this one. Right now, the Republican Scott Strauss has a lead over Democrat Julie Chin. All right, District 10, northwestern portion of Nassau County, Kings Point, Great Neck, Lake Success region, Republican Mazi Pillup with 64% of the vote right now against Democrat Paul Jordone. District 11, Nassau County, this is you, Glen Cove, Seacliff, Sands Point, Republican Colin Bell running against Democrat Delia DeRigi Witten. She has served as a legislator since 2012. It looks like she may do it again. District 12, Merrick, North Belmore, North Merrick, Republican Michael Giangregorio, your Republican incumbent right now leading Democrat Michael Giannissi. Let's move to District 13, East Meadow, part of Levittown. Republican Thomas McKevitt is seeking his 5th term. He's the legislature's deputy presiding officer, running against Democrat Clive Casso. District 14, this is an open seat. This is Valley Stream, Lynbrook. This was Republican William Gaylor's seat. He served for 5 terms. He's not running. Republican Shaharia Ali, 32 of Elmont, running against Democrat Cynthia Nunez. Right now it looks like Democrat Nunez has the majority of the vote. Again, very early results here. We're still waiting for more results from Nassau County. We'll check back. District 15, Wantagh, North Wantagh, Seaford. This is filling the seat of John Ferretti, who was appointed Hempstead Town Supervisor. Republican Kayla Knight running against Democrat Stephen Hellman in this one. All right, we're going to take a look at more results. You see right now, District 16, again, still waiting on results from Nassau County. At least we got to look at some of them because we are late into the night. What time is it? It's late.
It is late. So Newsday TV's Jill Wagner is at Nassau GOP headquarters in Baldwin. Jill, take it away. I hear you have some news for us.
Hey, Ken and Macy. It looks like the Republican candidates all coming out. There's Bruce Blakeman, the Nassau County executive. He's calling the candidates up on the stage. So I'll get out of the way while he does that. Republicans were hoping for a really good night. There has been a red wave here in Nassau County for the past few elections, and they're really hoping that that continues today. We have been seeing the candidates mingling with the crowd, which is usually a sign that they're feeling pretty confident as the results come in. But you could see there again the county executive calling all of the candidates up to the stage. There's Joe Cairo, who is the GOP chairman in the county, along with the legislators and the town supervisors as well. Right now, Republicans really control the bulk of Nassau's government, from the Nassau executive to the DA, even in the towns as well. I think the county executive is about to speak, so let's take a listen. It looks like they're still waiting for some of the candidates to get up on stage, but I spoke to a few of them earlier today, and they say that they think that the issues are really on their side, and those issues that are most important, they say safety, and as well, they say lower taxes. All right, I think they're about to start.
Ladies and gentlemen, despite what happened in Virginia and New Jersey, Long Island bucked the trend. Good candidates, the issues, and all of you. Thank you. In Nassau County, we took all four countywide offices. We maintained our legislative majority. We won all three towns. Skip Macklin and Glen Cove will pick up either 1 or 2 seats. And listen up, that crew down in Long Beach with Brendan and Mike, Jimmy Moriarty, for the first time in 54 years, we swept the city of Long Beach. And the guy who let us see his victory, County Executive Bruce Blakeman.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Thank each and every one of you. May God bless you all. First of all, I want to thank Hashem, God. It all starts there. I want to thank the men and women of Nassau County for giving us all your trust to lead us going forward. If it's not for the people of Nassau County coming out the way they did, we wouldn't have had the tremendous result that we've had tonight. And I have an amazing group of colleagues that ran with me. But we have the best chairman of any political party in the United States. Let's hear it for Joe Carlo. I just got off the phone with President Trump, and he was delighted. And I said to the president, thank you for all you've done. We had faith in President Trump's policies, and the people of Nassau County wanted us to cooperate with ICE. They wanted to get criminals out of our county. They wanted to be the safest county in America, lower taxes. I want to thank my wife, Sigal, who's not here tonight because she's a judge and can't come. My son, Arlen, is here. Avi, Ariel, my grandchildren at home, all my friends and family that are here tonight, all of my supporters that are here, each and every one of you, thank you for everything that you did. I want to also thank my running mates, the amazing Elaine Phillips, the best prosecutor in America, Ann Donnelly, our great clerk, Maureen O'Connell, my brother from another mother, Joe Saladino, Jen DeSena, and I got to watch this guy in the legislature. He did an amazing job as a legislator. He's going to do an amazing job for the largest county in America. Let's hear also for John Ferretti. Congratulations, Howard Copel, keeping the majority. Four years ago, we made promises. We said that we wouldn't be a sanctuary county. We said we would take the masks off the kids and stop oppressing our children here in Nassau County. We said we wouldn't raise taxes. We haven't raised taxes 1 penny in 4 years. That's a pretty good record. And we've gotten 7 bond upgrades. We are the safest county in America. I want to thank the PBA, the SOA, the DAI, the corrections officers, all of our law enforcement professionals for keeping us safe each and every day. Thank you to each and every one of them. We have the greatest police department in the world, led by our great Commissioner Pat Ryder. are also blessed to have so many volunteer firefighters and EMTs who keep us safe here in Nassau County. Thank you, and God bless you for all you're doing. Thank you to all the unions that backed us, the hardworking men and women of Nassau County. Thank you to our building trades. I also want to thank a lot of dear people here, but time won't let me, but I want to single out to Harry Singh. Thank you, Harry, for your support. David Mapp. I'll make it quick, Jim Metzger, and so many of you. So let me say this. We are going to continue the work that was started to make us an even more prosperous county, to bring job creation, economic development, keep taxes down, support our law enforcement, and continue to make this the best place to live in all of New York State. Leadership counts, and we've got great leaders. So to each and every one of you, again, my sincerest thanks, and may God bless you all, and may God bless this great United States of America. Fight! Fight! Fight!
Bruce Blakeman!
Bruce Blakeman giving her victory speech here. Now let's look at the scene at Suffolk Democratic headquarters. NewsdayTV's Doug Geed is in Holtzville. Doug.
All right, Ken, thank you. Yes, Suffolk Democratic headquarters, they're celebrating here on a smaller scale than winning the county executive, but a couple of important victories. Babylon Town Supervisor Rich Schaefer, double victory for you. You're reelected as town supervisor, and your party made some gains.
Yeah, we made some gains tonight. The first legislative district on the East End, Greg Dorosky defeated Catherine Stark, the incumbent, which was a great race. We also picked up a town board seat in Southampton. Tom Neely was elected to the town board, and in Huntington, where nobody thought we had a chance, Jen Hebert was elected to the town board. There's a couple of races there that are close, the 18th legislative district, as well as supervisor and the other town board seats. So we just feel we've set the table for next year. We did a lot of grassroots work this year, a lot of door-to-door, a lot of texting, phone calls, and I think all of that is shown in the results tonight.
Yeah, when you're trying to get back in power, as Democrats were, I won't call them baby steps, the victory tonight, that'd be insulting, but, you know, Huntington was 5-0 Republican, you picked up a seat there, 12-6 legislature Republicans now, at minimum, I guess, 11-7, so what difference does that make, or does it sort of look ahead to the future in your eyes?
Yeah, no, it allows us to attract other candidates for next year. I know the referendum has passed tonight. We're going to sue in court over that. I believe that we'll be on the ballot for the county legislature next year, and it'll make it easier to attract candidates in some of these districts and put resources into them so that we could hopefully bring back a Democratic majority in the county legislature, and it'll allow us to attract candidates on the town level as well.
And just a quick question, all of the turmoil, I'll call it, politically nationwide, do you think that had an impact locally here tonight, or you think it's a whole separate thing?
I think it's pretty much separate. I would say that I think we outperformed the Republicans in several areas that I didn't expect us to, and I think some of the national turmoil has something to do with it, but I give credit to the grassroots operations in all the town committees. I think that they did a lot of great work in talking to our voters, getting them energized again, and I think the results showed that.
Okay, you're in big demand. I'll let you go. Appreciate your time. Babylon Supervisor Rich Schaefer. Okay, that's the story here. Ken, Macy, back to you guys.
Thank you so much, Doug Geed in Holtzville. Now we want to go to the new New York City Mayor come January, Zohran Mamdani. He's giving his victory speech right now.
City, breathe this moment in. We have held our breath for longer than we know. We have held it in anticipation of defeat. Held it because the air has been knocked out of our lungs too many times to count. Held it because we cannot afford to exhale. All of those who sacrificed so much, we are breathing in the air of a city that has been reborn. To my campaign team, who believed when no one else did, and who took an electoral project and turned it into so much more. I will never be able to express the depth of my gratitude. You can sleep now. To my parents, Mama and Baba, you have made me into the man I am today. I am so proud to be your son. And to my incredible wife, Rama, Hayati, there is no one I would rather have by my side in this moment, every moment. To every New Yorker, whether you voted for me, for one of my opponents, or felt too disappointed by politics to vote at all, thank you for the opportunity to prove myself worthy of your trust. I will wake each morning with a singular purpose: to make this city better for you than it was the day before. There are many who thought this day would never come, who feared that we would be condemned only to a future of less, with every election consigning us simply to more of the same. And there are others who see politics today as too cruel for the flame of hope to still burn. New York, we have answered those fears. Tonight we have spoken in a clear voice. Hope is alive. Hope is in the tens of thousands of New Yorkers made day after day, volunteer shift after volunteer shift, despite attack ad after attack ad. More than 1 million of us stood in our churches, in gymnasiums, in community centers, as we filled in the ledger of democracy. And while we cast our ballots alone, we chose hope together. Hope over tyranny. Hope over big money and small ideas. Hope over despair. We won because New Yorkers allowed themselves to hope that the impossible could be made possible. And we won because we insisted that no longer would politics be something that is done to us. Now it is something that we do. Standing before you, I think of the words of Jawaharlal Nehru. A moment comes but rarely in history when we step out from the old to the new, when an age ends and when the soul of a nation long suppressed finds utterance. Tonight we have stepped out from the old into the new. So let us speak now with clarity and conviction that cannot be misunderstood about what this new age will deliver and for whom. This will be an age where New Yorkers expect from their leaders a bold vision of what we will achieve, rather than a list of excuses for what we are too timid to attempt. Central to that vision will be the most ambitious agenda to tackle the cost of living crisis that this city has seen since the days of Fiorello LaGuardia. An agenda that will freeze the rents for more than 2 million rent-stabilized tenants. Make buses fast and free. And deliver universal child care across our city. Years from now, may our only regret be that this day took so long to come. This new age will be one of relentless improvement. We will hire thousands more teachers. We will cut waste from a bloated bureaucracy. We will work tirelessly to make lights shine again in the hallways of NYCHA developments where they have long flickered. Safety and justice will go hand in hand as we work with police officers to reduce crime and create a department of community safety that tackles the mental health and homelessness crises head on. Excellence will become the expectation across government, not the exception. In this new age we make for ourselves, we will refuse to allow those who traffic in division and hate to pit us against one another. In this moment of political darkness, New York will be the light. Here, we believe in standing up for those we love. Whether you are an immigrant, a member of the trans community, one of the many black women that Donald Trump has fired from a federal job, a single mom still waiting for the cost of groceries to go down, or anyone else with their back against the wall, your struggle is ours too. And build a city hall that stands steadfast alongside Jewish New Yorkers and does not waver in the fight against the scourge of anti-Semitism. Where the more than 1 million Muslims know that they belong. Not just in the 5 boroughs of this city, but in the halls of power. No more will New York be a city where you can traffic in Islamophobia, win an election. This new age will be defined by a competence and a compassion that have too long been placed at odds with one another. We will prove that there is no problem too large for government to solve and no concern too small for it to care about. For years, those in City Hall have helped those who can help them. But on January 1st, we will usher in a city government that helps everyone. Now, I know that many have heard our message only through the prism of misinformation. Tens of millions of dollars have been spent to redefine reality and to convince our neighbors that this new age is something that should frighten them. As has so often occurred, the billionaire class has sought to convince those making $30 an hour that their enemies are those earning $20 an hour. They want the people to fight amongst ourselves so that we remain distracted from the work of remaking a long broken system. We refuse to let them dictate the rules of the game anymore. They can play by the same rules.
That is Zohran Mamdani giving his victory speech right now. But right now we also want to go to Joy Brown, who is in Newsday Studio 2 with Larry Levy, Dean of Suburban Studies at Hofstra University.
Yeah, Joy, a few moments ago we saw Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman declaring victory, and now Zohran Mamdani in the New York City mayor's race. What do you guys got going on in there? What are you looking at?
Well, let's go local first.
Sure.
All right. You had talked earlier throughout the evening about Long Island being a bellwether, being a not bellwether. And we saw Joe Cairo, right? Chairman of the Nassau, longtime chairman of the Nassau GOP, and one of the greatest field marshals when it comes to getting out of the vote, says, despite what happened in New Jersey and Virginia, Long Island broke the trend.
Right.
Put that in context for us.
Well, you have to wonder, what is it about Nassau County, which has similar demographics, similar enrollment to the other purple places in this country, stayed dead red? And even in Suffolk County, where they have a terrific Republican organization. Democrats made gains. They're going to pick up some offices. They're going to come much closer than they did. So what's the difference between Nassau and Suffolk, Nassau and Fairfax, Nassau and Bergen County? In this case, you got to hand it to Bruce Blakeman. He's the difference. Bruce Blakeman won by a very small amount 4 years ago. I think if he were honest, he would say there was really not much that he did or said that accounted for his victory, but that people...
I'm going to say that he's going to disagree with you.
He
worked hard. He squeaked by the first time.
He squeaked by.
But you cannot take it away from him that he campaigned for that office.
Oh, listen, nobody wanted to run against Laura Curran.
I
She was very
that,
popular.
But he went out and he worked, and people thought he was going to lose.
Right, but if it wasn't for bail reform, and it wasn't for the crime surge and pandemic, it wasn't for a number of other people being mad at Joe Biden, Bruce Blakeman probably would have lost that race. This time, he didn't eke by. He won by 10 points.
And that's a mandate for him.
It's a mandate. In the context of Nassau County history, it's a landslide. So what does that say? It says that leadership does matter. Having a feel for what voters are willing to support, whether you agree with his position on ICE, whether you agree with some of the other things he backed, the attacks on transgender athletes and the like, about going full MAGA in a county where Trump's approval rating has been falling like over the rest of the country. Bruce Blakeman broke out of the pack and made the case that he is somebody, regardless of his policies, who showed strength and leadership and backed up by one of the best local political organizations in the country.
Well, he also said during his concession speech, he says, I just got off the phone
his
with President
acceptance
Trump.
speech.
Acceptance speech. What did I just say?
Concession.
No.
That's right. It's late. I'm tired too.
I'm tired. Okay. In his acceptance speech,
Yes, ma'am.
The county executive said, I just got off the phone with President Trump, and he was delighted.
Right.
He said, we've had faith in, here, my handwriting again, in President Trump's policies.
Right.
So he is so closely aligned.
Yeah, he is.
And where people in Virginia and people in New Jersey may have thought that was a bad thing, people all along in Nassau County didn't. So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Is Nassau County purple anymore?
That's a really good question. I mean, on paper, it is. In practice and performance, it is not. Can it go back to being a purple or even light blue area that it had become under Laura Curran, under Tom Suozzi? Probably, because again, you have an ever diversifying population where a lot of the newcomers are bringing their capital D Democratic voting tendencies with them. That was part of the transformation of Nassau County. My first race for when I was at Newsday was covering the 1977 Nassau County executive race, where Republicans outnumbered Democrats 3-1.
Not that way anymore.
No, not at all.
Which means, with that blowout that he just got,
Right.
it wasn't just Joe Cairo being the field.
Right, exactly.
Right? Working the field and getting
Right,
out
Joe
the
Cairo,
vote.
Jesse Garcia in Suffolk, he's a
field marshal as well.
Darn right.
You got two of them. But they also had to convince people who aren't Republicans
Right.
to go with them. And that's with
Right.
policies and everything else that
Right.
they stood for.
So what Blakeman was able to do was separate himself, even in embracing unpopular policies, from the man who has been promulgating them, which is President Trump. Trump's popularity has faded since he carried Nassau just a year ago. And his policies on the economy, on immigration, are also what we say is underwater in terms of negative versus positive approval. Blakeman embraces most of those policies, but yet he was able to, as I said, separate himself and have voters say, this is a guy we like, even if we don't like some of these policies. This is a guy who showed strength to the majority of people who decided to vote. The question is, well, what does Bruce Blakeman do with this?
Well, but I think what Bruce Blakeman does with this is he puts himself in line to be governor. I don't know what he told the president, but
or what the president told him. I think what Bruce Blakeman wanted to hear from President Trump was that if you decide to run a Republican primary for governor against Elise Stefanik, you have my support.
Well, but
they're both auditioning for it.
We don't know, but we'll have to see. But I want to go now.
Sure.
We also heard from Zohar Mamdani in the city. His speech. Hope. He kept talking about hope.
Right.
I mean, you can always.
Right.
Do you see a leader emerging here based on what you saw before?
He clearly has leadership skills. There's no question about it. It was what we used to call a barn burner, filled with alliterations and high notes. Much of it didn't really say anything of substance, but it had that kind of magical quality that we used to hear in a Mario Cuomo. It's ironic that Andrew Cuomo wasn't a terrible orator, but he always was in the shadow being compared to his dad, who was one of the greats of our lifetime. Mamdani is a guy who one day may be compared, at least as an orator, to Mario Cuomo. Ugh. But the question, and I said this a couple of times, the question, and he seemed to be aware of it, Mamdani.
Oh, of course. One of the things he said, I will wake each morning with a singular purpose to make this city better than it was the day before.
That's right. And that's going to resonate with people, and it already did. He stayed away from specific policies, except at one point he did say rent's going to be free for 2 million houses, free buses, free child care.
He said he's going to freeze the rent, make buses fast and free, and have universal child care.
Right. What he also did that I think is notable and gets to the idea of trying to pull people together to use his mandate to establish himself as not just a left-wing ideologue was he directly addressed Jewish voters and said, I will fight every day, or some locution like that, against the rising scourge or surge of anti-Semitism. And then he pivoted to saying, and I'll no longer make it right or nice to indulge in Islamophobia. So he clearly is looking to bring people together with rhetoric. But in reality, you have to see how he performs, particularly under the pressure of running a government that some people say is truly a city that's truly ungovernable.
Well, we shall see.
Yeah.
I mean, he did say, in this moment of political darkness, New York will be the light. And with that, let's go back to Macy and Ken in the studio. Thank you, Larry.
Sure, you're welcome.
Thank you so much, Joy and Larry. Now stay with Newsday TV all night for our live election coverage.
Yeah, we're not done yet. See results, hear about the local impact, streaming here on Newsday TV, and check newsday.com/LIVotes for more of our in-depth coverage. We'll be back.